Well, hello and welcome back to the DC UK podcast. This is season 6 and it is episode 8. And as always, I have a shiny head, but also my name is James Graham. Uh, Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. Did I say season 8 or season 8? Definitely not season 8. Episode 8, or did I say episode 9? We'll have to check that out, but it's definitely episode 9. Um, so today we've got some great stuff. I forgot to upload the uh, podcast sponsor video that I normally do, so I apologize. You won't be seeing that today. But please give us a little shout on the old chat if you are watching this live. And if you've got any questions, as always, please do drop them in the chat. Be nice to see you soon. And I am drinking some lovely H2O to keep me going in this lovely evening. We've had some balmy weather this week. We've had hottest day of the year. It was getting 30 plus. I've been to Legoland as well. It's my son's current summer holidays as he's broken up from his preschool and he's going to be transitioning to primary school in September next month, which is scary to think that he's already going to be going there. That is just bizarre. Really, really flipping bizarre that he's going to be going to primary school already. But hey, this is what happens when you have kids. And this is what happens when they get older. And yeah, very strange. But yeah, we're back. We've got a couple of games to look back onto. We're not going to be looking back at the Celtic game because that was just a friendly match. But we are looking back at the Leagues Cup games, the tournament, which I, as you know, previously I do hate. And I hate the fact that I've enjoyed these last 2 games. But, you know, we're here for soccer. We're here for football. We're here to enjoy it. We are here to be entertained. And that's what we've been getting a lot recently. It's been beautiful to see the amount of entertainment that we've had recently. The fact that we've beaten Nashville, we've beaten Minnesota away from home. Technically, we beat Atlanta United, even though it was on penalties. We've beaten Santos Laguna. If you're going to count the Atlanta game as a win, that's 4 in a row. Last time that happened was back in April 2023. We're yet to decide who we're going to be playing in the next game of the Leagues Cup. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see whether we get 5. Can you imagine 5 in a row? The last time that happened was 2018 when Rooney joined. That was the last 5 games of the regular season. So that is going to be something crazy to think about if we can get this win this coming week, because it's looking like that's probably going to be Friday evening. Early hours Saturday morning for me. So yeah, let's crack on with a bit of DC UK news. Beautiful. I got into a little bit of a tune there. Hope you liked it. Yeah, so as mentioned, Leagues Cup, we have finished top of our group, which is pretty awesome to say the least. Yeah, 1.5 wins, 2 wins, depending on which way you look at it. I'm interested to hear from you guys out there whether you like this old style of MLS where draws were decided with penalty kicks and to get that extra point, rather than just both teams sitting on 1 point apiece. The team who loses the penalty shootout gets a point, and the team who wins the shootout gets an extra point. Adds a bit of extra competitiveness, should we say? It's an interesting one. But yeah, we finished top. We've beaten Atlanta United on their PKs. We've beaten Santos Laguna 3-0, which was a fantastic victory. And I know Atlanta and Santos Laguna are currently playing. So I'm just going to have a quick look at their scoreline right now. So bear with me too, shakes of a lamb's tail. It's currently 0-0 at halftime. So that could be going to a stays like that. That'll be going to penalty shootout. But yeah, looking at it from the fixture list, it looks like we're going to be getting a home tie. That is to be confirmed, but from early look at the moment, it does look like we're going to get a home tie. That'd be awesome, as long as it's played out of field, because we all know what happened against Santos Laguna and the fact that it was, at Subaru Park, which was a bit of an embarrassment, shall we say. The fact that we decided to go ahead with a pitch change. Now, I hadn't seen what it was like because there was the Celtic game, and that wasn't broadcast unless you paid for Celtic TV, which I was not going to do just to watch a single game. Unless there was no free trial, no nothing. It was just plain old. You've got to pay for Celtic TV. And I'm a Rangers fan, or used to be a Rangers fan. This was my first ever football shirt, Rangers. I ain't going to do anything with Celtic. So, yeah. Interesting game. We got beat 4-0 in that one, but it's a friendly, so we don't class that. And we had a lot of changes. It wasn't a strong lineup or anything like that at all. So yeah, top of the League's Cup group, fantastic. We'll take it. Other bits of news: former DC United players Kevin Paredes and Griffin Yao made their mark in the Olympics. Griffin Yao was playing. He got some match time. And Kevin Paredes got a couple of goals as well. Really great to see former DC United youth players actually making it on the international stage. Olympics is an interesting one for us Brits because we don't actually have a team in the football. We did for the London Olympics back in 2012, but we generally don't have an actual team, which is a little bit sad for me because I think it would be great to see a team from Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, all of us together to regularly put that team in. But, FIFA like to have their hand in things like this and decide that we can't do it. If we were going to do that, then the teams of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland would no longer be allowed to play in international tournaments as separate entities. So, yeah, that's why we don't have a Great Britain team, unlike we do with every other sport. Okay. I would love to see British and Irish Lions playing in the rugby sevens as well. That would be interesting. It would be very, very cool. But that's another thing. And that's going to be interesting. I think it's next year, the next British and Irish Lions tour, where it starts over here in the UK. Well, I think they're playing in Ireland for a game against Argentina, which is the first time they'll have played a game in the Northern Hemisphere. For those of you who don't know, British and Irish Lions, Germany will play South Africa, Australia, or New Zealand on a rotation every 4 years. So it's always a big thing in the rugby world. And it's always a great tour, great to watch. You up 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, get the games out of the way, bish, bash, bosh. Always fun. And really, really good entertainment and high level of play as well. Moving back to soccer, though, former DC United loanee Lewis O'Brien has made his move back to Major League Soccer, but not with DC United. We received 50,000 of GAM for some kind of rights. Who knows what kind of rights they are these days? From LAFC, who signed Lewis O'Brien, who seems LAFC seem to be signing players left, right here at the moment. I think they've signed Olivier Giroud. They've got Hugo Lloris. They've now got Lewis O'Brien. I think they're signing someone else as well. I really wish I did a little bit more research. LAFC. Let's have a look. Gone to transfer market. Their team value is 52.85 million euros. I mean, you look at the rivals on transfer market. Omar Campos, 4.6 mil. They've spent some money. It's just bizarre. They've spent 14.9 and sold 3 million euros worth of players. Kai Kamara in there, Eddie Segura, Eduard Atuesta, Philippe Krastev. Yeah, Hugo Lloris, as previously mentioned, David Martinez. Yeah, it's just absolutely bonkers. Olivier Giroud coming, Lewis O'Brien, Steve Buick, Real Valladolid. It's getting to the point where it is now getting like the Messi situation and Inter Miami, where they're getting loads of players because they're one of the fashionable clubs. Really frustrating. Really frustrating. Speaking of former DC United players, yet again, Victor Paulson has joined Plymouth Argyle to reunite with former Black and Red boss Wayne Rooney. Interesting to see this one. Not surprising in essence, because Victor Paulson and Wayne Rooney, he was one of Wayne Rooney's signings, and they seemed to get on. And I quite like Victor Paulson. I thought he was really good. I joined the Green and White podcast, the Argyle Life, to speak about Victor Paulson, and it was a good chat and give them an honest review. I thought he was a really good player for us, but also give my view on Wayne Rooney and what they can expect from Rooney Ball, which is probably not a lot considering his time at Birmingham, where he took them from the playoffs and they headed for relegation in the same season. And the only reason why Plymouth Argyle are still in the Championship is because Rooney took over Birmingham City. Going to be an interesting season for them. Keep your eye out for that. But I'm also looking forward to Middlesbrough this season because it looks like we're going to do rather well, if anything of our pre-season is to go by. Because we've just been Heerenveen today. It's great. What was that yesterday? This weekend. Let's go with that. So yeah, that was great. And then actual current club news, something that hasn't been announced, and I saw this on Reddit, and then there was a link, and it's actually legit. The Capital City Cup is returning. Club haven't announced it. They've not said a single word about this, but yeah, the Capital City Cup is returning in October as part of their Capital City Africa Week Festival. DC United will be playing Asante Kotoko of Ghana. Hopefully I didn't butcher the name too much. Yeah, nothing been announced. Very strange that this is happening. Yeah, massively surprised by this. And I thought, why have we not said anything? October 12th, the game is happening. In 68 days, 18 hours, 44 minutes, if we're going to be precise. Yeah, not a single thing has been said about it at all. So, yeah, there you go. We'll see what happens. Asante Kotoko previously had an affiliation with Sunderland of the UK. Back when they were in the Premier League, which they haven't been for a little while now, so I don't think that partnership is still valid. But yeah, Asante Kotoko apparently one of the biggest teams in Ghana, as well as actual continental Africa as well. And there you go. That's as much as I know about Asante Kotoko. Don't know any big name players from them, if they've had any big name players. You probably know more than I do on that one. So yeah, that's it for the news. So I'm just gonna, go back to we'll play the VT. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, please do hit them up in the chat. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because every subscribe and like helps the podcast. And if you're listening to this, if you're not a fan of watching, please leave a little rating and a review on Apple Podcast or on Spotify, which you can do now. Again, all helps with getting this podcast to a bigger reach. So cheers. So, match review times. As you might have seen in previous podcasts, we tend to go to another screen for this and actually run through on screen. And I'll talk you through, for those who are listening, what is happening, what happened in the previous game. So we're going to talk about the game against Atlanta United, which I'm going to bring myself down to the bottom right-hand corner. This was a game which was massive entertainment. Thoroughly enjoyed this game. The first half was insane. First half was a fantastic feat of football. If anyone who wants to know how fun soccer can be and how good MLS teams can be and how entertaining MLS teams can be, we should show them this game, because there was mistakes, there was great goals. It was just phenomenal. I just remember what comes at the end of that first half, thinking, this is great. We need to keep going. And at the end of the game, we then got the penalty shootout. We had Alex Bono making saves, and it was just a joy to behold. Absolute joy. So we had Christian Benteke open the scoring in the 4th minute, thanks to an absolute howler from their goalkeeper with his clearance, just slicing it, scooping it up in the air, headed back in, and all Benteke had to do was chip it over. Well, I say chip it over, dink it over the keeper, tap it down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Then Stroud's second goal, that was classic Brexit ball. Proper English style. Sam Allardyce would have been proud. Route 1. Alex Bono gets it from the corner, counter attack, long ball forward. Stroud is on the end of it, and all he has to do is just slot it home for the second. Loved it. Then they brought a goal. Oh no, they equalised. Sorry, and then we took the lead again. My bad. Yeah, there's just a header. They've got a fake pitch. I think the skip from the ball didn't help Bono really that much, but we should have defended better. Herrera was marking him when Bartlett should have been on him. Bartlett didn't have anyone on his... wasn't marking anyone. He was just there. When realistically, Bartlett should have been marking Rios, and Herrera should have been marking the player at the back as well. Poor defending. I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated with Bartlett at the moment. He's good in the air, but his positioning is pretty poor. And that's the side of the game he needs to really improve, and very quickly. Otherwise, we're just going to keep conceding sloppy goals. So yeah, then Stroud scored a second, and then his third goal. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play this. We'll give it a go. You know what? Bear with me. I want to show that second goal of Jared Stroud, because it was phenomenal. If I can find it very quickly, because it was, like I said, it was just something else. What a volley. It was, for me, goal of the season. Absolute goal of the season. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's bring that over here. Let's try and flick that into there. Let's make it full screen. And let's just see that ball come in on the dink it. And, oh, beautiful finish. Absolute beautiful finish. Yeah, like I said, for me, goal of the season right there. Couldn't couldn't top that really. But then Alan to bring it back. They score a second goal, and then they score their third in the 81st minute, which then brings it to penalty shootout. We're not going to forget about Alex Bono's penalty save in the second half as well, because what was his name? Slits, I think his name was. Has got a listed there about his penalty miss. No, Sliss, this guy here. Yeah, he missed his penalty in normal time. Then Rios scored his penalty in normal time. So then, when it came to the penalty shootout, Pedro stepped up first. Then Dahome, Herrera, Benteke, Pirani all scored. Actually, no, Click was up first. They've got this in a really weird order, actually, the penalty shootout. McVeigh did not step up first. It was Click. Very weird. I don't know why they've done that. It's not even alphabetical. Oh, yeah. Bono, what can I say? Great keeper for this shootout. I don't know whether he had a water bottle like Jordan Pickford had with England, but he seemed to go the right way at the right time and was absolutely in Sliss's head at the end. That was just something else. The fact that that penalty save was just straight down the middle was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. When we look at the stats, we dominant, more shots on target, better passing accuracy, more corners, way more offsides, 5-0. Absolutely incredible. More. Do we have more possession? That's the start there. It isn't on that one. That's bizarre. Let's just scroll onto this page. Let's get the possession stats. They don't have it? What? Okay, that's very strange. Why don't they have the possession stats? Oh, there we do. There we go. 52.87% possession. And as you can see, the flow of play, a lot of it was just in DC United's favour. We were dominating that ball a lot of the game. But the big one, XG, they were actually higher. 2.6 to 2.3. Now we know XG isn't the be all and end all of stats on paper and which team should have won the game. Because you look at Jared Stroud's goal, you wouldn't have expected to score that one. So, yeah, we're going to take it. We loved it. Great game. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That was our technically third win on the bounce after the Nashville and the Minnesota victories. And then we're coming up against Santos Laguna. Now, I'll admit, didn't know much about Santos Laguna, but upon watching the highlights, because I didn't watch this game, as you can see here, if you're looking up on YouTube or on Twitch, we streamed to Twitch today. So hello to anyone who's watching on Twitch. This is midweek, and I was away at Legoland, so I wasn't going to stay up to watch this one. But it was great to wake up to another victory again. Very happy about that. Benteke, Teku Pietro finally getting back on the score sheet. I've been critical of him this season for that. I feel like he needs to be more clinical or assisting more with goals. His goal contribution levels have just not been at the level I would expect of a player of his caliber. So I'm really happy to see that he's getting on the score sheet. You've then got Dahome, who, again, seems to get a lot of heat from fans, and that's sometimes valid. Certainly picks up the really silly yellow cards quite often, but he's been played out of position a lot this season. And when he's actually started to play further forward to the pitch, you look at the game against Nashville, you look at the games that he's been playing against Atlanta, you look at him obviously scoring against Santos Laguna. He's doing rather well. And I feel like we need to back off him a little bit because he's doing well for us. He's scoring goals and he's always got a beautiful smile on his face. What can we say? Um, so, yeah, great again to see the win. Embarrassing that the fact that we had to move the game from Audi Field to Subaru Park, but it is what it is. Santos Laguna didn't really, watching the highlights anyway, look like they were really in this game at all. It was mainly DC. We were just slicing them open left, right, and center. We look at the stats 10 to 13 shots. We had more shots on target again, better passing accuracy, more corners. Equal on offsides this time, but way more. We had way more fouls, but only a single yellow card in this one. Yeah, 3 goals on target, more possession, and way higher XG as well. So a game that we properly dominated in this one. Very happy about it. Not going to argue in any way, shape, or form. It means that we just finished top of the group, and there will be in the second half now. So let's have a little look. Oh, a double sending off. What's happened there? Feed. 55th minute. So it's only just happened. Poor sportsmanship. Wow. Well, there you go. Anthony Lozano and Sunday Silva. And that's straight reds. Brooks Lennon could pick. Yeah, straight red cards. Oh, I think I'm going to have to catch up with that, see what the heck has happened there. Because that is going to be an interesting watch. Let's have a look at the stats so far in this game. Santos dominated possession, more shots. I mean, it would be hilarious. I really don't like Atlanta United. It'd be great if Santos can beat them and they get knocked out of the Leagues Cup. That would be funny. That would be very, very funny. So yeah, so that's pretty much the reviews for the games and the Leagues Cup so far. As mentioned, I'm really annoyed that I've been enjoying these games because I'm very much a critic of this tournament and what's happened with the Open Cup and the fact that there's not a team that we've got in the Open Cup. I think it's an absolute sellout. I feel like this tournament should not exist. Or, I mean, well, not exist is probably a bit harsh. Have the tournament by all means, but at the expense of a historic tournament that's provided entertainment on multiple occasions. It is the US version of the FA Cup. You have your fairy tales and like Cincinnati and among other D2 teams, and look what happens, and that magic is just suddenly just disappeared because Don Garber and those at MLS went, nah, we want more money because more money. Never mind the historic nature of the tournament and actually getting behind the US Open Cup and actually trying to promote that. But because it's not something that they've come up with, that's what it feels like. And that's why we've got the Leagues Cup. Like I said, have the Leagues Cup. Maybe it's in a different format, maybe it's in a different way, but not at the expense of the US Open Cup because it just feels like it's very, very frustrating. But yeah, as mentioned, we've got our next game coming up, which should be on Friday evening, stroke Saturday morning, or Saturday potentially. That is still to be decided. I don't think there's many games left in Leagues Cup group stages. I think we've got a couple of games coming up in the next few days. Once that's all done and dusted, we'll find out who our next opponents are. They said we should be playing at home from the looks of it. And yeah, what should be happening is if it is on Friday evening or even on Saturday evening, I'll be doing a little watch along with that game. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Might even do it on Twitch at the same time. And we'll have a great fun whilst doing it. You'll have live commentary from me. We'll have the score line up on screen and things like that. So make sure you are watching along and you are synced in as well, because that is always good because I have the time up on screen. So you can keep it all at the same time and you can have proper reactions rather than waiting 4 or 5 seconds for me to catch up when you see a goal happen and you're like, we go, yay! It's just not fun. Always have that at the same time. So yeah, that'll be good fun. But we've got some fun questions. I always like to get your questions in. I like to answer them. So feel free to drop them in if you haven't already and you think, oh, I want to ask about that. So yeah, first question is from Zizran69 on Instagram. So the questions have been through Instagram, so I won't keep repeating that. And they've asked, who should we sign? I don't want to name a player as such, because there's thousands of players, and the type of player that we can attract isn't quite as good as what I would love to have at the club. But I think we still need a winger, a proper winger, or a proper number 10, a proper magician, flair player, like we used to with Lucho Acosta. We've not really had a proper one since him. And I think that's a player that could really make or break a season. Actually, I need to come off that because we don't need that up on screen anymore. Yeah, I think that'll be a player who could properly change the season and propel us to actually playoffs. Because to be fair, we're not actually that far away now, thanks to our recent form, last couple of wins. It's amazing what a couple of wins can do to your season. Really get you back into the groove. And I think with this tournament that we're having with the Leagues Cup, it's adding that extra bit of confidence for us. Because you can see in the play, the change, the confidence levels, and the fact it's a bit more free flowing and a little bit more I can't think of the word. Swagger. A little bit of swagger about us. That's great. But yeah, I feel like we need a number 10 and a proper beefy centre back who's got good positioning and good in the air. Who that is, I don't know. But for me, I think that's where we need to improve upon. Kim Kolb, you might see him around the grounds. He's a good photographer and a good friend. We've met when I was in DC last, when I had my podcast live stream at the Screaming Eagles tailgate. That was a lot of fun. And he's asked, biggest positive surprise of this season? And I think the biggest positive surprise of the season is how much the fans are behind Troy. Because we've had a tough run and it's been down and not a lot of happiness in terms of the results. But it's been good to see the fact that the fans are behind him and they understand that things need to take a bit of time to get that change in, because they also understand that if we just sack Troy, we're back to square one and we're starting the whole cycle yet again. And we'll be back in the same position and we're just going to keep going round and round and round, and we'll become Watford, where we'll have a manager every few months. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be a Watford. Really? Um, so yeah, that's my biggest positive surprise this season. How much the fans behind him. When Wayne Rooney went through a run, it didn't feel like that. Well, that's because we've got a better style of football now. Um, we've had better signings. The fact that there's no Dave Casper involved anymore. It just feels like there's a lot more positivity around. And I'm here for that. I like my positivity, and I think that's a really pleasant thing to see. So that's my biggest positive surprise of this season. And then Victor, well, always asking the questions, and it's lovely to see. Asked if I've seen Paredes and Yao at the Olympics, and the quick answer on that one is no. Mainly because we're not being able to see a lot of Olympics coverage. It keeps chopping and changing, which is weird. And there's not really a huge amount of football shown here on the Olympics. Difficult to actually get to see that. And I think that's mainly down to the fact, like I mentioned before, there's no Great British team involved. So there's not really a want and a need to watch Olympic soccer. So you can't really see it. So now, unfortunately, I've not seen Paredes and Yao at the Olympics. Obviously seen what they've done and heard about what they've done, but I've not actually seen any of the highlights on them because everything that gets shown on Twitter, that gets shared by DC Knight or whoever, is always from geo-fenced accounts. So I can't actually even see them online there. So yeah, so that's it. That's it for questions as well. Very quick episode this week. I'm glad that you've been in and you've tuned in and you've listened along. So as always, I thank you for that. If you appreciate what I do and with this podcast, and you want to support it in any way, shape, or form, subscriptions, likes, all that is all good. Ratings, reviews, all great. And what's even better is buying some DC UK merch as well. So head over to dcnightkingdom.com/DC UK store. Link will be in the description, I believe. So go and head up there. We've got caps. I really wish I had mine on, but mine's in the car. I forgot to take it out. Jerseys, t-shirts, you name it. We've probably got it. Pint glasses even. So yeah, go and get yourself something. They're not that expensive, isn't it? All proceeds go to help keeping the podcast going, because it ain't free doing this. If it was, it'd be great, but it isn't. So I need to try and find to get the money somewhere. And that always helps if you're able to support in any way, shape, or form. So thank you. But yeah, that's it for this week. Like I said, nice quick episode. I'll be back later. And as I mentioned, tune in to the watch along for the next Leagues Cup game. I'll be doing my little commentary to go along with it. So until next time, bye, Mosh United.